Hey, this is Cam with the West Central Montana Avalanche Center. We are down in the Southern Bitterroot on the southwest aspect, just below 7,000 feet. So overnight, we got about a foot of new snow. That brings our total snow height up to about 155 centimeters down here, roughly 5 feet. So when this foot of dry new snow fell overnight, it fell onto some snow that was damp, potentially even wet yesterday. And this snow is pretty warm. So what that did is it created this crust right here at the interface, and just above this crust we've got some small facets that formed. So as we were skiing across this meadow in the low 20s, we experienced a significant collapse, a large wound, so we dug down to investigate. And this is that problem layer. So this new snow, it's acting a little bit slabby just because it is, although it's dry, it's fairly dense, and we are able to get propagation just above this newly formed crust on these small facets. So that's something to watch for as you're traveling around. As well as this down here, this is that old crust we've been tracking that has a little bit of faceting still above it. We did not get any test failures on this layer. We're not seeing any propagation on it, but the structure is still poor. So moving forward right now, especially in sheltered terrain, this is our layer of concern just above this newly formed crust. In addition, upper elevation along ridge lines, we are seeing a fair amount of wind, so definitely some potential for wind loading onto those east aspects. So we've shifted over to a due south aspect, same elevation, and we noticed the snow is significantly less supportable. We're still getting some collapses, but we're trenching down deeper with our skis. So we dug down to take a look at what we've got, and you can see this is that new snow. It's light, fluffy, and dry, but right below it, the snow is still wet. You can squeeze moisture out of it. It's got a lot of heat to it. And then down below it, we've got some cold, dry snow. So we've got a fair amount of heat right here in the snowpack relative to the snow above and below it. We are going to see some melt layer recrystallization right at that interface. So we're getting some collapsing right now. We already have a bit of faceting right at the boundary, and there's potential for that to develop even further. It might continue to get a little bit weaker, and this could definitely form a persistent weak layer. This is something we're going to be tracking moving forward, but just be careful in areas where you've had significant dry new snow falling on top of snow that's still wet, unsupportable, as you may be developing that weak snow. Ski and ride safe.